What's going on out there? Happy Friday to all of you. It's been a hell of a week. Just gonna say that right off the rip, but we are at WhiskeyMania tonight. And it won't be like huge, like dozens of matches, crazy, nothing like that. But I do have 3 matchups for you guys tonight. We'll get into that in a minute. I just want to ease into it tonight. I've got a little Bardstown, the basic, not the bottom bomb, the white label one. Just came out, sipping on to start. Love to know what you guys are sipping on to start this evening. We do a little housekeeping here and get a little bit up on the banners here. What's in your glass? Yeah, it's been a crazy week, and honestly feel like drinking tonight finally. Now, I'm not going to get toasty, crazy, too much with it, but definitely going to have something. Who's the first comment? What's up, brother? Damian Wagner. Ancient age. I like it. I like it a lot. Need to get more of that in my life. And then somebody the other day, one of the videos commented and was talking about JTS Brown, which I've had. Ty, what's up, man? What's happening, dude? Somebody was out there about talking about JTS Brown, which we don't often see our way, and I do enjoy that too for a budget pour. But again, start with the Bardstown white label tonight. Good stuff. I don't say it's the best. I like the dude. I like the bonded better, and then would love to try the rye at some point. So we'll get that eventually, get that in here. But tonight, we've got some chats. Y'all help drive the conversation. Good stuff, man. We're going to get together soon, Damien, for sure. And I'm going to get up to Whiskey Wednesday. It's not going to fall through like the one time I can get to plan. Like this week's no good because I'll be out of town this week. Be out of town the following week. I'll be home the following Wednesday. So that might be possible to get up there to St. Pete. I'd absolutely love that. About to pour some OF rye. Picked it up today. First try. I see what you did there. $26? Yeah. Dude, it's been so refreshing coming back these first few months after Allocade season, SZN, if y'all like, at the end of the year, which happens every year. Remember, distilleries are trying to obviously get that off their books. So they don't pay taxes. We'd love to have you. I'd love to be there. Get that off their books. They get the taxes. So they have a lot of their allocations they're pushing out, all the new product that, if it's close enough to be mature, they're trying to push it out the door. They don't want to pay taxes. They want it off the distributors. You guys know that game mostly. I don't have to explain that to you. But then we come back to this kind of lull. There's some things that come out. You got, your Elijah Craig's and the barrel proofs world of that world. We got blessed with some with Bernheim and B batches or A batches in February, things like that. And then things are waking up. So we're still blessed. We still have, it just dawned on me the other day too. We are in just a freaking renaissance era for whiskey and bourbon. Some of it's getting crazy. Some of it's getting craft beerified on us, right? Sometimes these barrels are kind of crazy and all that. Whiskey flavored whiskey's kind of put on the back burner. It's not as sexy, kind of like lagers used to be. But I think lagers are popular in craft beer last time I checked all of a sudden. I like them. But tonight we've got, and I'll pull the bottles over here in a minute. We got 3 matchups I'm going to run through for you as we chat. I've got the brothers from Heaven Hill. Barrel Proof brothers from Heaven Hill in Elijah Craig Barrel Proof and Larceny Barrel Proof. This is the C batches from last year. Y'all, they got to have a fight, right? Because, this Larceny's finally coming around, the Larceny Barrel Proofs. Let's see who wins in that one. We're going to get to that in a few minutes. Also, 2 local Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select store picks. That's an easy Tennessee battle. Come on, right? We can go there. We have Lucan's and Star Liquors. And then to close the night, we do have Willet 8-Year Wheated versus Weller Antique 107. $250 bottle versus a $50 bottle. Both next to impossible to get on the shelves. We're going to get into it. So we're going to kind of dissolve into that tonight. We'll get there because it is WhiskeyMania. And yes, I'm not too proud to say that I still do occasionally watch wrestling. I watched it definitely growing up. And then wife and I, as we were dating, were watching it as well. What's up, Raging Irishman? Thanks for popping in. And so I'm not too proud to say, obviously, I still catch it. Obviously, with it being on Peacock now for the pay-per-views, you don't have to pay for them. It's like mindless stuff to watch. So that's what kind of sparked the idea for tonight's episode. Plus, hanging out with you guys. Sarah's not here. She just got in Ohio. She had to take her parents up to Ohio. Medical appointments and stuff. Everything's okay right now, it seems like, so we're good. But I'm here with you guys and ready to just cheers it up. So whatever you have in your glass, again, this is my Bardstown Origin Series. So I'm just going to finish this up and then let's jump on in. Let's see where tonight takes us tonight. May not be a long time, but we're here for a good time, right? Cheers, everybody. Get that Weller. Yeah. Man, Weller. Let's talk about that. Any of you guys Mythical Beast? You watch Good Mythical Morning? I will be the first to admit, when you watch recorded content for me, this guy ripped off their intro. I don't do it word for word for them, right? Like I ask a proper question, and I say, let's answer that. And then they say, let's talk about that. So, hola, in and out of watching the LSU game. Yeah, heck yeah. I'm basketball this weekend. Big basketball. Sports ball. Pardon me for a second, guys. I've still got the residue of all that head cold stuff I had going on. Bean counter, what's up? Stop watching after Hulk Hogan retired. Well, I don't think any professional wrestler ever retires anymore. Though I guess that's debatable. I think his body's broken down enough. He probably isn't going to come back to the ring. But it was fun. Back in those days, like literally on Monday nights. I'm sorry. After I get out of class, my wife and I would grab a pizza. Well, she was my wife at the time. We'd grab a pizza and we go watch Monday Night Raw. No joke. 100%. This is the Attitude Era. So this is Stone Cold, and Hogan was just kind of on the way over the hill on his career. Mendoza, what's up, dude? Redwood Empire, Emerald Giant, Rye. Yeah, Redwood Empire, man. Those guys, I love them. They're doing nice things. I like the cast strength stuff a lot they were doing. Of course, we didn't get jack distribution down here in Florida, but it is what it is. I'm not crying about it. We do get other things that people don't, like things like $20 Buffalo Trace at Costco. Sorry, not sorry. Back on the Canadian not sorry thing. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to kick this night off. I think we have to have the first match, right? And I got to pour them up. I don't have any entrance music. Listen, this is like watching WrestleMania 1, where everybody knew it was going to be a big spectacle, but the production on it was, wasn't until they turned the corner on a few WrestleManias later where they're like, oh, yeah, we should make this a little more TV pop and all that. So tonight, what you do get is just we're going to introduce the players and no entrance music. That'd be wonderful, right? We're going to start out with a little C922 Elijah Craig versus the Larceny Barrel Proof C922. So 12-year bourbon versus the weeded product. And it's going to go down. Let's see who wins. Probably all of us are going to win, because one of two things is going to happen here. Either we're all going to get a little toasty and we're going to have a good time, or we're going to drink and it doesn't really matter. So I'm just happy to be back drinking. I did the math, and I know you shouldn't do the math on this kind of thing, but obviously went to Whiskey Weekend. Oh, look at that. I should come up with something, but I don't have anything to say because like America is Matt's, right? So I can't say that. Joe, what's up? Yeah, did your arms get longer recently? No, they didn't. I just figured out the right settings for the autofocus. It's amazing what happens when you learn technology. Guess on the ECBP. Probably, as much as I adore what Larceny's starting to turn into, this last year's C-Batch was very good. But with that said, I think you helped me decide what I'm going to drink first, Raging Irishman. That means if we think ECBP is the favorite, we're going to defer to the Larceny. What do you think of EJ Small Batch? I think EJ Small Batch is just a super, super underrated bottle. To be honest with you. Where's Joe Elbin hiding? I think he was somewhere in Europe. I don't know. So Bean Counter, to answer your question, EC Small Batch for me ranks right up there along the so when you get into these things, you can call them value tier, mid tier. Technically they're called mid tier, and then there's mid plus when you come to the next level. So I'm going to call it mid tier for the purpose of conversation. Wild Turkey 101 for me is a hard to beat. Okay. So when we're competing with those two, I'm not going to be able to put it above Wild Turkey 101, but I'm a turkey guy. So, but then it goes against things like 1792 Small Batch for me. And again, that's my taste. But again, I do tend to like a little bit of that nuttier profile, potentially, things like that. That said, I do like me some Elijah Craig Small Batch. Probably in that whole realm, top 3 to 4. We did the episodes a while back where we took the 3 groups of 3, and I thought it did well. Of course, it didn't make it to the finals because of the groupings and whatnot. But, all right, yeah, it didn't. So, but it just goes to show. I put it this way: I put it above regular Buffalo Trace, not store picks. Those are different kind of world, right? But yeah, put it above that for sure. So let's start off tonight with the larceny. This is what we got in the glass, in this glass, and we got the barrel proof over here. So if you kind of see this, the orientation, I'll keep that up. And I honestly, you can tell by how much I've drank out of this bottle. I've been digging on this, and I haven't drank as much out of the barrel proof. So not saying if you look at my bottle fills still that you're going to be able to predict this. And in fact, you won't be able to the rest of the way. It just won't happen. But yeah, I just like how we started to get some sweeter notes on the nose in this and how that sort of translated into the flavor. Sorry, I'm not waving at you guys. I'm getting my autofocus back in. I was just bragging on the autofocus, and then I go and screw it up by having like I'm not going to do it again. See, I almost did it. By having my thing up. This camera is literally a foot, 2 feet, 5 inches in front of my face just because of how I'm positioned in the room. And so it's super sensitive, but it works, Joe, for my arms. Let's get into this taste real quick. Yeah, man. So over my left shoulder over here, you can kind of see him sitting down there a little blurry, closer to the tall rack. That's all my ECBPs, and I'm working on trying to build out that, vertical, horizontal, whatever we call it. And it is scary, to be honest with you. John, what's up? Single barrel rye Old Forester. All right, dude, those things are bangers most of the time. I don't think I've had one that I didn't say was at least very good. Whereas I can't say the same about the bourbon. I've even had some store picked bourbons. I'm like, this is just a hot mess. And as the bottle opened up, it got a little better, but it was just hot. And that's okay if you love that kind of thing. But those ryes, man, those ryes are so flavorful. Don't get a ton. I haven't gotten that ton of variants where you come, at full circle, like real, super dilly, but I know they're out there. So I haven't had one. Man. Okay. So the larceny, we took the opening salvo. Larceny came out, and just like any good wrestling match, and the underdog, at least in this, what you all are saying is the underdog, not me. So the underdog came out, gave him a few punches, right? Stomped the foot, because you got to stomp the foot to sell the whole thing. Yeah. Drinking some Evan Williams single barrel. Man, you talk about one that I hate. I love it for the fact that they're trying to conserve it, and it's a Kentucky only release now. Man, I miss seeing that on the shelves. And you still do see it. And if you see it, it's a couple years old at this point. But yeah. So, but then, like any good wrestling match, especially in the opening matches, the favorite kind of rolls out of the ring and takes a break. And so Elijah Craig, barrel proof, comes, gets composed, gets back in the ring. We're not going to do this all night where we talk through these things, but I'm just giving you guys, setting the mood here. Got it here. Okay, well, must have been sitting on a shelf as like getting dust on it, because my understanding is new products for as of late last year for Evan Williams single barrel should be minus if there's a store pick out there. I don't think I've seen that. Should only be Kentucky only at this point. So good on you. If you got a little honey hole up there, keep it coming, because that's a great bottle. Okay, guys. Everything that we pulled off, the sweetness, probably a little bit of weediness on that other one. We get that nice, beautiful profile. You might be right. So the champ's back in your favorite's back in the ring. Hey, what's happening, babe? We're doing a little wrestling match. Well, we're not wrestling. That'd be weird. We don't do that kind of stuff by myself, so it would look really strange. But yeah, figured Joe's about 2 years. So Sarah is in Ohio. I think she just got an eating dinner. She's getting ready to get settled. She's going to see us next week if we're able to go live, but we should be able to. It'll be mobile setup, and we'll get it right that time. So, but anyway, so let's go into the barrel proof here, and let's see the first. It's coming back. It's going to come, and it's probably going to do something like get the ref to look the other way and something. And let's see what happens here. I love just there's this beautiful oakiness, and there's a slight fruitiness expression I get off this that you don't quite get here. You just get that sweet kind of weeder experience, and it's different. So yeah, it's weird. So people have been, Damien, let me take a sip of this real quick, and I'll finish my thought on that. Oh, Champ is here. That's a throwback wrestling reference. First sips off each. We got ourselves a barber night on this one. Hopester brings back a 107. So still something you can easily find in Ohio. No doubt about that. But not as plentiful as it used to be. It feels like the honey holes are picked over faster with the whole OLHQ. For anybody familiar with Ohio, people have figured out long ago, they figured this out, but they figured out the delivery routes. They know that the Kroger's, I believe it's in Cincinnati and Columbus, or Columbus and Cleveland. I can't remember which. And like one out in Zanesville, just randomly, is on Monday. And so that's a really good idea of what the Kroger's are going to be getting. So people know throughout the state the rest of the week. And then it's just a matter of, you can still make friends with your local stores, OLHQ. They can't quite tell you what's going to be in the inventory, but they can definitely get a sense for things and whatnot. So not as plentiful as it used to be. Now, Green Label, you love Special Reserve, all over up there and all retail. It's freaking awesome. And I don't discount Special Reserve. It's time and place for everything, right? So that's what it is. So I'm going to come second sip back here on the barrel proof. And, this match is kind of, there's no commercials on premium live events, AKA used to be called pay-per-views here. But this match has kind of gotten those moments where it's like, somebody showboating or something and everybody's kind of like chanting or whatever, like you suck or something. And neither one of these suck, but whatever. So, okay. So that's nice. That's nice. Our barrel proof, our Elijah Craig, starting to stretch its wings and strut its stuff here. Really is. Starting to kind of feel itself. It knows it's the favorite here, but the crowd isn't 100% on its side because that's how that works. The crowd wants the baby face or the underdog to win. Not this crowd. This crowd said, we want that barrel proof. Wow. Okay. I have forgotten. Again, I haven't had that. So I started to go down path earlier talking to you guys about After Whiskey Weekend, which was second week of March, and we're now 3 weeks past. I can count on both hands the number of times I've had a drink of whiskey just because I was sick and trying to get over that. I have forgotten how much oak tannin and vanillin and or how you say that word just come out in this thing. And then you get some expressions of fruit slightly. And then you get some of that starting to really come to around a creme brulee. And the finish is just so long the entire time I've been talking, which doesn't make sense because it should be dissipating out of your mouth. It's still there. I don't know. Maybe there is something to the crowd calling the ECBP. I don't know. You tell me. We'll see. The crowd's starting to come around and say, okay, this probably isn't the upstart Larceny's night, but we'll have to kind of figure that out. So you guys tell me. Hey, by the way, so we did some content while I'm just kind of strumming up ideas. I'd love to get some feedback here with you guys. Content recently, we did a store haul video. I did more of a conversational video just recently, like what got you into bourbon. It's not going to be a high flyer. I knew that going into it. But I want to know if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, because I feel like I'm still in the process of trying to make sure we create a community here within the larger Whiskey Tube community. And if we don't talk to each other and know about each other a little bit, which you guys may already know each other, that's fine. But I don't. I certainly don't. And, I want to make sure we have good conversations. I'm not necessarily trying to start anything like a Bourbon Real Talk with Randy, although maybe it gets there someday. I don't know. He already has a wonderful community for all that fellowship, but I want there to be that level at least there. So tell me what you guys think about recent content. We are going to get back into some definite review or heads up or blind tastings as well. It's just been, your boy couldn't drink that much this month, but he's back tonight. Bean Counter, thank you. I appreciate the feedback. Love it. I'm going to continue to try and do that. I'm finding, well, I mean, as you guys know, it's just like there's so much goes into like anything, and it's nearly impossible to open 1 or 2 bottles new every week and then not look up, like I said in my video a few weeks ago, like not have 100 open bottles. Also, reality of running a YouTube channel is, I'm not crying about it, guys, when I say this. You can't really go out and buy $100 bottles every week. I mean, not me at least. So yeah, I do get the store haul thing. And so I was trying to figure out like the spin of like, because I apologize if somebody doesn't like language. Occasionally I say things that are just direct. Store haul, to me, I try to not make it a dick swing. Like it's not meant to be that. It's like, hey, this is what I was able to find. And so, yeah. Good. Yeah, no, I don't pretend to think we'll do it all the time when we have those kind of a podcasty type, conversational type, but I want to do that for sure. All right. Let's see. Raging Irishman, glad to feel better. I've caught up on a few of the past episodes. I'm enjoying it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Hey guys, Raging Irishman, appreciate you being over here. I have to say, one, I've met a number, language is okay. I've met a number of other fellow whiskey tubers at this point. Raging Irishman is someone I met through Whiskey Row community. So David and Jamie, please go check them out if you haven't. I tend to enjoy them immensely. If they're not your cup of tea, that's okay, because I might not be your cup of tea at the end of the day. But I always want to make sure that I try to raise the tide for all the boats as much as I can, as much as my tide might only be this deep and others know so much. If I can add to that, that's the main thing. All right, larceny. We can't forget about the main reason we're here, the liquid, right? Let's go. Take a second small sip, because you know you really got to recoat when you come through this. So give me 1 second. We'll come back into that. And then I think the match is starting to turn to that final finish. It's kind of scripted usually. There's kind of some cool moves. Maybe somebody comes off a top rope. Who knows? We'll see. But again, production budget this year for WhiskeyMania wasn't that big, so we don't have graphics. But someday we're gonna get there. It'll be a big promotion someday. I just can't. So one of the things, if you guys remember, I said this is one that I'm going to look for backups of it. And it's obviously very difficult right now to find backups of this, because it hit, and when it's rounds, and they went to 123 so fast. What strikes me on this is it is a barrel proof alternative wheater that we don't have a lot of ones. We got the ones at the end I mentioned. Remember, promoting the match later tonight, we've got the Willet 8-year versus the old OWA 107, right? And it's a store pick OWA 107. So it's not just some basics, 107. So think about it from that perspective, we don't have a lot of barrel proof wheater options. There are more than we think there are. We don't have a lot of ones that are like, Heaven Hill, right? We do, but we're getting there. So second small sip. So right now, what's happening in the match is, the underdog is kind of feeling its second wind. It probably threw like some sort of a crazy move, and maybe even hit its finishing move and tried to go for the pin. And nope. The popular one kicked out. Raging Irishman. I got a store hall video. I'm in Chicago, and people know what drops and stuff bottles get taken quickly. I appreciate what people find here about. Yeah, that's for me. That's the biggest thing. Like, so it's akin to me. Like, I realized I hadn't done a pure shopping video. And somebody I've been watching lately to kind of get the idea, that's been fairly successful with it, is both Bruzel. Of course, Bruzel's channel is huge. He's blowing up. But there's also a gentleman in South Florida, and I forget his name. And it doesn't have to be fancy to be a necessarily. You do want to have better production value if you can, but on both the hunting and the store haul videos, right? Of course, Whiskey Row David does a great store haul videos. So that's kind of why I brought it up earlier. But I too enjoy that, because like this month, I can tell you I'm going to be at various times this month. I'm going to be in Tallahassee, Florida. I'm going to be in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm going to be in Dayton, Ohio, and I'm going to be all parts in between that triangle. So for me, I'm definitely going to pop in and do some hunting, and then potentially have store haul videos behind that, So I think it's fun. I hope it's not pretentious. That's the main thing. Like, if it was pretentious, I would turn someone off in a minute. Like, oh, I only bought the Weller, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I passed on the 107. I only bought the full proof. I passed on the 107. Stuff like that. Like, get out of here. Get the hell out. Right. But anyway, so, the favorite's coming back and saying, okay, I'm going to end this. Let's end this. All right. So both of them stand up. There's a little skirmish. Okay, now I'm playing with dolls. We're not going to do that. Okay, anyway. And I do have a verdict. I'm not bourbon judge. I shouldn't say verdict. Sorry. By the way, I love Marcus. Freaking Marcus. Anyway, so we're going to do this a little different. The Whiskey Cove does a lot of store videos. Yeah, I've seen some of those too, John. So we got both of them. You can see them here. We're going to do this more MMA or boxing kind of champion. We're going to kind of ultimately put the one up that we think is the winner. And as much as it pains me, I got to agree. You guys, the Elijah Craig is still on top, but it is not nearly as big a gap as it used to be. And I love that. I really do. But that said, Elijah Craig, if it had a title, it retained the title. B Will coming in saying small batch is getting a folding chair from under the ring. Not wrong, because small batch, hey, they're looking at this opportunity going, okay, barrel proof guys, a small batch is tasty too. So I may have a surprise for you later for you. We'll see how that goes. So we're gonna say tonight in the first opening match, Eliza Craig barrel proof. I don't think any of you guys would be surprised by that. But the fun part about the second matchup to me is that really, minus maybe Damien, B Will, I don't even know that you would be able to say too much. I've got a battle from Tennessee. Yeah, see, I have not had the A123 yet, Raging Irishman, and I can't wait to try them because I've heard that gap is either closed or it has surpassed EC by a lot of people's standards that I trust their palates. And so ready for that to happen. But again, the problem with it is, so it's going to get just destroyed off the shelves. We're not going to get a lot of it. I'm ready to find that product where I'm just like, yes, I was able to scoop 2 or 3, and there was still some on the shelf for other people. It's not there. So we're going to go and have a little old Tennessee battle. And so the names on these picks, probably to a lot of you guys, don't mean too terribly much unless you know about the Tampa Bay area. So we have Lukens versus Star Liquor. And now this is actually a pretty even tail of the tape, to be honest with you. Lukens comes in at 130.3, and the Star Liquor comes in at 130.9. So, Damien's putting money on Star right now. Yeah. Oh, John Higson. Oh, yeah, Macho Man. That was really deep, wasn't it? Sorry, you got the idea. It wasn't that great. You know what's my favorite memory of Macho Man? When him and Miss Elizabeth got married and they were opening their gifts and they go, candlesticks, yeah. So, I don't know. Oh, man. Yeah, absolutely, man. I'll hit you up. I appreciate that. I'm pretty sure we'll find it. So, the weirdest thing about Florida, and some of the guys in here, and Damien can probably attest to this, is some things we get like seemingly as fast as local Kentucky markets, and other things we don't get for a month and a half. And of course, that has distribution networks and all sorts of things involved and whatnot. But yeah, so it is just one of those things. Or some things you get and you just miss out on because a store gets a case and that's it. So. By the way, I don't know how you guys feel, but I obviously recently went to Jack Daniel's, so that's a whole different topic. We went through that last week. I don't want to bore you guys with those details. I think that Jack Daniel's product line is super, super amazing right now. And I'll even tell you, like, if you haven't gone back, if you haven't felt compelled to go back and wherever you were with old Jack number 7, whether it was your college weekend down it to get feeling good, or you were a Jack and Coke person for a long time, go back and visit it. And I'll tell you why, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's a world beater. It's not. I mean, in some ways it is, okay? Because obviously it sees global distribution. So that's a quote unquote world beater, right? But in other ways, it really just has an enjoyable, pleasurable taste. Not like these guys, right? Because these are barrel strength. Duh. You're talking about an 80 proofer, low 80 proofer. But it is just kind of crazy to go back and revisit those things. I'm super excited to eventually try the 10 and the 12. Lucky enough to hear from Chris Fletcher that they want to try and run that program all the way back out to 18 and 21, like Jack had back in the day. That's if the barrels will hold up and everything. So I can't wait. All right. Since we called out Star Liquor as possibly the winner here, we're going to start with Lukens. So Lukens is in this hand. Oh, hey, anybody get banana ever? I don't know. Weird. Not banana dominant, but like bananas Foster. Also a little bit of minerality in there, kind of strange. This bottle's been open, so the tail of the tape in terms of where I'm at, we're about 700 milliliters starting, and this was a fresh crack. So can we say crack, or can we say no to crack? I can't remember. It's really bad jokes. That's what you get. This is what happens, especially when I'm solo. You're getting really bad dad jokes or really bad jokes in general. All right, we're going to do a little differently. We're going to come to the nose on the Star Liquor over here. We're not going to taste. We're going to nose, taste. Okay. A little richer. Just a slight bit richer experience on that one in terms of the vanilla and the sweetness. And then on second hit, I get just a hint more oak. Interesting. Nose tells you so much, right? but only so far. So how much stock do you put into it? Probably too much, but it's your first experience with most things. Any rate, let's get into this. So I said we'd start with Lukens. Anybody else switch glasses? Anybody get into something new drink they're drinking? I'm gonna pull this down. Make sure you guys see what's in your glass because we always like to make sure we know what everyone else is coming around on. Oh man, there's still something. The difference in these two is not huge. I think the Star Liquors on the nose is slightly more oaky, maybe a little, maybe a touch sweeter. There is something in this Lukens that has a little minerality to it. There, go out of focus. That's not you guys getting toasty yet. That's my focus. I apologize. Yeah, that tour is amazing. And Mary Bobo's, if you haven't eaten there, man, you gotta. It's the one thing I will go back into. I gave you guys all the details last week, but it is a true Southern dining experience. You have the person, they have the food out family style, and then you have a person sit there and chat with you, and they're guide for the meal. They don't necessarily talk to you about the foods particularly, although the fried chicken is supposed to be world life changing. Um, but yeah, it's worth the haul because it's out on its own pretty much. I mean, Dickel's not terribly far. Leaper's Fork in Leaper's Fork, Tennessee is about an hour away. And then, of course, you have your Tennessee distilleries, which is about an hour and a half, or your Nashville distilleries, which are about an hour and a half. But it's pretty much out on its own. So you're going to burn most of a day to do it. You might go plug a second one in, but Rare Breed. Yes, sir. Bean Counter. You're speaking to my heart, man. I don't know. I even shudder that I'm putting this out loud. I hope the good folks at Wild Turkey don't see fit in trying to put a price increase in that thing. It is just pound for pound for me. You've heard me say it. Pound for pound, just got to be one of the best out there on the market. There's others, don't get me wrong. And I'm a turkey fan. I told you that. You guys, I want to be true to those roots. But all right, let's get into Lukens. Oh, whereas the palate brought that more banana dessert, this is more banana bread. And hey, what's going on? Look who's here. We were talking about you. You must have heard us. Had to have heard us. So I'm glad you're here. You know, we're doing some WhiskeyMania. So I just want to let you know we've currently got a battle of 2 store picks from Jack Daniels going on here. I got to make sure I don't bump my microphone. And we'll give you a little show. Also, hey, oh crap, get in there. All right. Yep, there we go. Also, hey, David, I did mention text you last night. I'll be up in Louisville that weekend. You guys are doing your meetup, so can't wait to see you guys. But anyways, guys, Whiskey Row, I mentioned him earlier. Please be sure to go check him out if you're not watching a lot of other whiskey tube, or if you are, definitely add him to your repertoire, please. Whiskey Row, good evening, sir. So yeah, this Lukens pick, where I said it was a little minerally and banana kind of Foster on the nose, pure banana bread. A little bit of nuttiness in there. Not like major nuttiness like you're going to get off some of the other brands, but it's there. And of course, Jack isn't necessarily immune to that. Very enjoyable. And for the one that our resident expert for the local craft beer pick, or craft beer, my goodness gracious, local craft picks, obviously, Damien said he thinks the Star Liquors, which is the contender here, is going to win. So yeah, I love these picks too. Again, value wise, how can you pass up these things? I mean, you're getting a huge amount of proof. You know the general flavor profile you're going to be getting out of these things. So, yep. Hey, Raging. And it just can't beat that. So the challenger in this case, which we're calling Lukens, threw a nice opening punch. We like that. We're going with the wrestling idea tonight, right? As if it was just joined. And but Star Liquor is going to answer. Let's see what they have to say about it. By the way, both these stores, if you're in the Tampa Bay area, excellent selection of barrel picks. Great places to stop at. I did grab tickets already, so I was ahead of that last night. Oh, man. Whereas the Star Liquor still gives you some of those banana bread elements, it comes back and there's like a layer of cream on top, like a little bit of vanilla. I don't know, like almost a buttercream vanilla, or vanilla for sure. Adds just that sweetness. It's markedly noticeably different. It's even with only one sip behind the other one, it just comes in and says, I'm a lot sweeter. Which we've detected on the nose, if you recall. So that's not too much to think about there. This might be a squash match for those of you familiar with wrestling terms. I don't know. Yeah, love the Bananas Foster. Oh, I can't wait. We have a dinner date at Burns in a month and a half. I cannot wait for Bananas Foster. Ran to grab their bottle. See? But anyway, Star Liquor, Lucan's, two good places to go check out barrel picks here in the Tampa Bay area, in particular in the Tampa proper area. Now, Star Liquor has a location in St. Pete now as well, not just in Brandon, well, up there. And you certainly are many other places. So that's another thing I do intend to actually add here soon is a good Tampa Bay store haul, Tampa Bay store check for that matter. So, all right, Star Liquor so far is just dominating this match. It's not even really fun. It's kind of like Lucan's came out and kind of threw that rabbit punch, and then Star Liquor just went, right? You know how that works. So let's come back and see if Lucan's has any kind of answer here whatsoever. This is going to be a runaway pretty fast. So again, if you like the pure banana bread, you're going to go on this Lucan's because it's less sweet. Unfortunately, what I think this means is we have a really quick match here. I do like the Lucan's pick for what it is, but this Star Liquor pick is among the best I've had from any of picks, and I'll show you the label. I'm not sure what Live Laugh Lynchburg. So I don't know the story behind it, but yeah. So I would tell you right now, if we're taking our second match and end of the night, it was a quick match, probably something like a submission, maybe even because this was just pretty dominant, to be honest with you. Yeah, this is where we're at, right? We were talking about earlier. We kind of, or I was talking about because no one else is actually talking, right? I was talking about earlier, like, I think we're starting to see obviously consumer taste go towards almost that. And I know, David, you're not a craft beer guy. I get it, but go towards that whole craft beerification of whiskey in a certain way, where it's like the sweet of the product. I've even heard some other folks say, and certainly when you taste some older product from Wild Turkey, you do get it. Like the changeover when some people claim that when they changed over to the Wild Turkey 1 on bottles that are embossed with the glass turkey on it, coming off that older label that you see up over here. God, I'm bad at that. That they changed the sweetness level. And I don't think it's that simple. I think there's something to saying we are going to have process changes over the years. You have younger trees that are pulled to make barrels, or water has changed because the chemistry's changed over the years because of environmental issues. But water chemistry can be altered too. So, but there are variables, and it's interesting to me. So just to wrap this one up, Star Liquor, I don't know if they have any left. If they do, it's worth your time if you're in the Tampa Bay area to pick this one up. This one's especially if you're looking more of that bananas Foster versus banana bread. That's the way I would go with that one. All right. So just like any other good WrestleMania, I've now got a commercial for you guys. No, kidding. I don't have any commercials for you to watch or any promos or anything like that. We're not going to go there, but a lot of that wrestling stuff does. Nice label design. I really enjoy the proof on the JDSSP. And for me, the sweetness adds flavor and helps mute them. Yeah. So that's an interesting point. Like, I just went through the Elijah Craig barrel proof and the Larceny barrel proof. I didn't get anywhere near the hug. Now, luckily, I'm kind of in a good cycle where since I haven't been able to drink much in the last 3 weeks, and I've been then watching my diet mostly well enough to make sure that I don't have any other residual. Gosh, camera, come on. Any other residual? All right, guys, sorry about that. Any other residual kind of heartburn stuff? But that one definitely did creep down on me, the barrel proofs, the Jack Daniels, that is. Whereas the Elijah Craig and the Larceny didn't quite get down there. They didn't really kind of affect me that much. So it could be second and third drink or theory. Who knows? We'll figure it out. But definitely didn't expect a decision that fast on those, to be honest with you. I really thought that was going to be more of a battle, and that's okay. Again, that's not to say the Lucan's pick is bad. It's just because I know plenty of friends that are going to look at me and go, I would have went with less sweet. And that's okay. That's the beauty of this. I will maintain. You guys will see me in comment sections on this channel saying all the time, like, if somebody disagrees and openly says that, so that's the beauty of it. Like, I'm not going to argue with you, because what you like and what I like, way two different things. But so we're working up. They're setting up the stage for the main event tonight. And y'all, you're going to get a preview as I pull them across the screen here. You guys already know what's about to happen. This is going to be one for the ages, because if you heard me talk about this, I have some preconceived notions. I have not had but a tiny, when the champ, quote unquote, we're going to make this the heel in this episode. Okay. This is my show. We're going to go and call this the heel. When the champ walks in and makes that long walk down and And, the champ doesn't fight much anymore, right? Because that's how it works nowadays. We don't need to see the champ fight that often. And then, the other one that comes in and says, I'm also got something special going on. We're going to kind of come back. This is a store pick from Specs in Texas. I'm also special. The crowd loves me. They chant for me. They do everything. Whereas they boo this guy. That's how I feel in general about it, because I do like this Willet. I don't mean to say it's bad. It's in no way bad. But, just on its surface, you got the $250 bottle MSRP versus a $50 MSRP. And that's tough to reconcile in my head. So we're going to find out tonight, because I haven't had this Willet, but a small nip of it very recently. And this Antique 107 has been the same. It's probably been 2 or 3 months since I've even probably tasted off it. And it needs to probably start going. So first, the Challenger gets poured. Second, the Willet. This is one of those bottles where I don't have regrets about getting it at all. This is a top card match. It is. This is a top card match. We got a Willet versus Buffalo Trace. What's crazy is that the age version, the pot still everyone complained about. Put yours behind purple top. Everyone loves it. It's kind of like a Joker, right? Yeah, it's kind of like the Joker. Like, just put a few more years on. Everybody loses their minds, right? Like I could totally see that being the meme here. Like Damien, you're gonna think the Challenger takes this one. I can tell you preconceived notions in my head. You're not wrong, but I'm open-minded. Okay, I'm gonna throw price out the window. We're gonna say, you know what? This is like kind of like they've been building up. Their factions have come out and beat each other up in previous episodes and stuff like that. And yeah, well, you know what? We'll take care of that for you. So I'll make sure I bring at least a sample up of this A107 for you. So this is where we're at. We obviously the champion is going to look up and 1 year older, one proof point higher. So tail of the tape is, pretty close, but of course they're going to make that look like that's a huge gap. And this poor 107, how could it compete? I'm trying to make a compelling case here, guys. I don't know if I'm doing good or not. But anyway, so we're going to start off. We're going to take the first. The champ's going to come out aggressive because he's got something to prove, right? So Chris Rich would punch him, but I love 107 now. If it was a rye, will it win? Yeah, maybe. We'll see. So on the nose. I get the same thing still, despite the fact this bottle's been open for quite some time. I get the same thing that struck me the first time I tried this way back in April or May. Well, because obviously I took this bottle and I made a few pieces of content from it, because at the time I spent some money on it. I didn't get it at retail. I didn't pay a ton over retail, but I didn't get it at retail. And so, obviously I'm thinking, well, if we're going to use it for the channel, I've got to get a few uses out of it. So we did the review itself, and then we did a roundtable with it, lot B, pot still, and 107. I get that same. You get that same idea off that Willet product where I can't help but shake. You get a grapiness a little bit, sort of 107 like in some respects, some bottles. There's still a little bit of marker in there. It's not off-putting. It's not terrible. It goes away very quickly. It's the ethanol. It's the alcohol combination burning off and everything, right? I believe it, because you can come back to this after you take your first sip, and it's not even there at all. In fact, after giving it a horrible SJ, probably won't get a tip on that one. It goes away. I also recall thinking in my head, this, for being an 8-year-old product, while I wouldn't call it grainy, I also don't think dusty. And that was a weird thing. Now, dusty doesn't necessarily tie to the grain, but I generally kind of associate saying if it's mature and the oak is there, you get a more mature oak, but I don't get a young, grainy, young oak product either. So it was very mesmerizing on the palate, or on the nose. I remember that. Let's come back. We're going to nose the 107 store pick. Oh, big, vibrant, sweet cherry, a little bit of grape. This store pick is ripe to get the title tonight. It's ready. It's ready on the nose. It is so much brighter than the champion right now. The champion's just walking out. They're going to pace themselves. They might come out and give a few moves at first. All right. Let's see what the champ throws the first shot. Let's see what we've got. Yeah, subtle, nice, nuanced, little grape, little almost salinity to it. Not olivey, not olives. Don't go there. Don't think bad. Um, God, there's a word that pops in my head. It's not the right word. Vinous, like vine, vinous, grapey. Um, wow, vocabulary is working tonight. Just don't know if it's the right word. That's great. Smart. Um, enjoyable. Again, not ultra sweet, right? So we might be heading down the path of the first one on the card tonight, where had some sweetness versus some non-sweetness, or even the last one, right? So yeah, so double sip, and then we'll come back the other way. Not right away. We're gonna take a little sip here and enjoy. Challenger, Old Weller Antique 107 store pick. Wow, what was a beautiful sweet cherry on the nose has a hint of medicinal to it. So you can tell there's a little vial tonight in this fight. This fight is just going to be a little dirty. It's going to get down there. It's going to really come together. For anybody just joining, because I have people just join, we're taking some Weller Antique 107 store pick from Specs in Texas and throwing it against Willet 8-year weeded. And we got to get that in closer because of the black. So far, love it. Okay, Raging Irishman, thanks for popping in, buddy. I really appreciate it. Oh, man. Oh, please. Yeah, those storms are wild up there. Please take care of that. I hope all is well. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, so on the first punchback, we've got kind of some notes that I wouldn't say are 100% positive, but they're not bad. Let's get a second sip. Coat this in the palate. We'll come back and do 2 sips. See where we're at. Wow. Okay, so second sip gives me some cola notes too, and I'm enjoying that a lot. Flat cola, but that sounds like a terrible. I got to be honest with you guys. I feel weird sometimes saying some of these things because they sound like negative or neutral comments. If I'm negative or neutral, I will tell you I don't like this because. So that's what you'll hear from me all, and like 99 times out of 100. I don't like flat cola if I'm going to go drink cola or pop or whatever you guys call it, wherever you're from. But in this case, it works. It's kind of like there's a grape and a little flat cherry cola underneath it. The medicinal on the second sip might have just been a hangover from having a few punches from that Willet 108, Willet Weeded. So let's give the Willet Weeded a chance to answer, and then we'll come back and maybe do a quick A/B again. See where we're going to go on this one. Okay, so interestingly enough, when you have your palate coated on the 107, you come back to the Weeded, you start to uncover some things where they pull together to me. I recall this when James and I go back and forth on camera on things where if we A/B or ABC, some of the things that affected your actual palate flavor wise. Why am I having focus issues tonight? Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. That you start to understand some similarities. Now, it's not perfect. It is not science. It's not something you're going to read in a book. They're like, oh my gosh, Nate Myers figured out how to actually do an A/B compare. That's not what I'm talking about. But in my mind, you do start to see, wow, does A and B have any similarities? So let's come back and get some tastes on Willet. Okay. First sip, I don't want to come and give any comments. I do believe when you ever go back and forth, you need to take a second sip for sure. Those of you, obviously that's a tasting technique, but those of you that have ever sat down next to Tom Adadio, it's Corona Cigar here in Tampa, will tell you he doesn't want to hear, he'll listen to you, but he'll tell you, take a second sip, take a second sip. Something that I can tell you that even a couple of years back, having met him for the first time, the very first time I met him, he reminded me, no, don't say anything. Take a second sip. And it helped shape where I go with things. So second sip. The champ's consistent. The champ comes back with just this almost a off dry, semi-sweet wine as if a grape, if we were talking about. And maybe even out towards true semi-sweet. And there's maybe even a little kind of dried fruit component to that as well. Underneath there, I still get a little bit of that, what I'll call salinity. Don't think olive juice or like a dry, dirty martini, nothing like that. But just a consistent, you can tell there's an intentionalness to it. and it has a difference. So if I can remember anything off the original tastings on this, I thought this was brighter when it was fresh, and maybe it's now settling into something that's feels a little older than it actually is, which maybe is a compliment to it. So far from rating this battle, pardon me, guys, 1 second. I hate to take any water in because I don't want to ruin my palate right now. This has just been a slobber knocker. Like for those of you that used to watch old school WWF, WWE, you remember Jim Ross. This is a slobber knocker, right? That's what this is so far, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I am leaning one way right now. It's probably not as obvious to you as you might think it is, but we still have one more round to go on this. So we're going to hit that final point in the match where something pivotal happens. And, we then decide, do we change the title over tonight or not? So here we go. We're on the Antique 107. So what you realize after doing the third round AB on this is that the 107 does feel like it lacks a little bit of that age, despite being believed to be 6-7 year juice, right? It lacks a little bit of that age, and the oak character does slightly miss compared to the Willet, in my opinion. Now, is that enough to tip the scales? Who knows? All right, second sip, and then we're going to come back and be this one, and we will make a decision. We will declare a winner. By the way, you're all winners tonight, just so you know. I know, sweet of me. I'm a sweet guy. I'll make this comment later, because if I say it now, I think it'll probably tip my hand too much. Yeah, I'm ready. Okay. Second sip to be sure. This is a lot like, just to show you that I do still follow wrestling slightly today. This is what I feel like the main event of this year's WrestleMania is going to be like. We have Willet, which I'm calling Roman Reigns. So I do follow it. Why am I? Come on, focus. Pay attention. Keep up. We have Antique 107, which I'm calling Cody Rhodes. And Roman Reigns has been title holder for a while now. Willet's new. So that's the part where this analogy falls apart, right? I still honestly will have to tell you that the fact that I can get two, even at secondary value, of these, store pick and all, for the price that I can get one at MSRP, if I can find it, of the Willet, amazes me. And if I go secondary on the Willet, which is settled like upper threes, right at 4-ish, I can almost get 3 or 4 of the 107s. On secondary, you can get anything. So that's not really a hard thing to really say. I will tell you that with age, the Willet has, I believe, settled into what I think is an actual very nice product. However, it's time to crown a new champion tonight. Despite having some things against it in terms that the other product doesn't have. Age. One proof point, right? One proof point. For me, I have to come back to the 107. And if this were a basic 107, who knows? We might not have the same result. We had a regular 107 in the video back in May, I believe it was. And it fared well. It did well. It held up really nicely. So, Damien, come on. Don't act like you're surprised. You were chanting the whole time, 107, 107. Or that Daniel Bryant, yes. You were chanting the entire time. I'll tell you this. The Willet made me think a lot more tonight than it had in the past. When I had it the other two times head-to-head or in a head-to-head competition with the 107. It really did. And maybe that's a testament to the fact that the airtime on this bottle has done it a lot of good. Or maybe that's a testament to the fact that the airtime on this pick has not done it well. I don't know the answer to that because I don't know that I put these two head-to-head directly ever. What I do know is that if they would lower the price point on that Willet down to even $150, it probably would change how I feel about the purchasing experience, not the liquid itself. Everything I said about the liquid tonight, stand by. There is a reality of dollars in this, though, right? At the end of the day, guys, we don't just buy whatever we think we like, it, whether regardless of the shelf price, right? Like some people have FU money and can do that. Great. That's funny, but that'd be great. Some people have the FU money and that's fine, and I don't blame them. Listen, one day I look up and I have the FU money to enjoy the things I enjoy. Now, am I going to be a jerk about it and rub people's faces? No, but at the same time, I'm going to enjoy what I enjoy and not feel bad about paying for it. But reality is, I think most people are going to look at it and say, at $250, I might be able to catch it in Willett's shop every now and then, or maybe there's still a bottle floating around near me that I know want MSRP. I think it's a ripe pick at $250, the Willett, to actually go in with like 4 buddies and split. Go in with the mentality you're getting 6 ounces, right? Drink 2 ounces, put 4 ounces away in a Boston Round. That's actually a pretty good deal, in my opinion. And that's probably how I'd approach that bottle. Now, 107s, I don't advocate hoarding anything, but 107 and foolproof might be 2 of the products that I say you might want to do that for. So this was fun. I'm going to hang out for a little while. If you guys want to hang out some more, I'm not done. I'm not going late tonight. I have some things I got to get ready for. I am traveling for work next week. And then traveling, I'll be home. I won't be gone the whole week, but whatever. Traveling the week after for family and personal reasons. As you guys know, since David was on, traveling the week after to go to Louisville, and then traveling the week after for work. So I'm traveling each of the next 4 weeks. As you can imagine, I have a lot of things I need to do. I'm not a procrastinator per se, but I got a lot of things to get in order to make sure I'm ready for that entire run this next 4 weeks. But good news is I'm back. I'm able to kind of drink and feel okay about it. And so I can't wait. But at any rate, if you guys watch currently, I got to ask this. I couldn't do a wrestling themed or wrestling episode or whatever. Who's going to walk out of the main event on Sunday night with that title? If you watch currently, is it going to be Cody Rhodes or is it going to be Roman Reigns? So what am I doing in Louisville? We are, Damien, do you know Chad Wiltz from Garage East Meadery? Not to name drop, whatever. But if you do, or if you don't, he and I and one of another person we know are going up just for a guys weekend. We happen to have booked this in like November. And then of course, Whiskey Row has their meetup the same weekend. And we just found out last night. We're going to go up. We're doing Louisville proper, because actually Chad's never done Louisville. He's done Bardstown a million times, whatnot, but we're going to do as much as we can. We're trying not to be too tour based. We're going to do a lot of bar hopping, a lot of eating. I don't know if you know, but I'm good at eating. I'm hopefully not going to use a scooter. I don't know. I've heard scooters are dangerous. Are they? You're gonna log off right now, aren't they? Yeah, close enough. Garangista. Yeah, close enough. Yeah, the one on Florida Ave, just outside of downtown. Garage East. And so he and I and one other person are gonna go up. Probably gonna stay away from scooters. I know it's delayed, so you can't reply that quickly. But we're definitely doing. I have fallen in love with that little strip in Nulu, man. I have. Yeah, the dessert style meads are delicious. I know if David's still on, he had the Whistle Pig that was finished in their barrels. Yeah, I have one. I did. I got it. I kind of have an in there. Secret Time, I'm technically, though I don't get scheduled, technically on like their C team roster to be a bartender there. So occasionally if they have an extreme need and they need to bring in the old, the old righty, they call the righty or whatever, I come in. I haven't done a shift in like a year and a half there. I did work there for just extra cash, like a shift a weekend for like a year and a half. I also did corporate ladder too as well for a while. That's how James and I knew each other prior to that. But so I feel blessed. In terms of community around here, in terms of like the beer and mead community, both those, if you look at, and I know Untapped can be a cesspool at some points. Both of those, you take out all of the new breweries and meaderies in the world that skew numbers because they only have 250 check-ins. Both those rank in the top 100 in the world, and they're here in Tampa. That's not even to count like Angry Chair and Cycle and all that. So yeah, hey, and listen, I'm happy to help make the connection, man. It's not a problem. Chad's an awesome dude, and And I love, the part I love is I might be putting on the screen and you're just out there saying, hey, when I do the distillery, I can't wait. I need to chat with you about that, man. That just blows my mind. Like I watch people that are NDPs getting stood up, like Bourbon Junkies, if you're familiar with them. They are standing up and they just got their DSP. So they just got their federal, what is it? Yeah, that's the federal, right? Yes, they just got their federal paperwork back the other day. So they're officially a distillery. Now they're non-distilling right now. But yeah. And so that's cool to me because I just love that because, right now they're trying to be masters of blending. They did have Sagamore put down some barrels for them, but that new make's not be ready for 3.5, 4 more years, if at best. So yeah. And then that video. So this is where I nerd out about whiskey too. I'm just going to stop after one or two things. So their last video was super cool because they're trying to be as transparent as possible. Now, they do know there's things that NDAs they might run across and things like that. But they literally told us, what they spent for cooperage last year in terms of what they spent. They spent over $200,000, and that doesn't go very far. Stuff straight from the barrel. Anytime I taste it, I'd love to, dude. Love to. We're gonna get together. We need to figure that out. I need to figure out a weekend just come to St. Pete, probably, or up closer to your way, because I know you're not quite St. Pete, but that's where your heart is a lot of the time. But yeah, I mean, I love the whole concept. I love everything about it. I know Florida's tough. I mean, our climate is going to be hard. I know down at Loaded Cannon, they're doing their best, and it's tough because they're not getting the cold cycles they need. So it's really hard. Yeah, scooters. I won't get on the things. I'll be honest with you. When I'm in a downtown metro area, I will not get on the scooters. Just won't happen. And that's coming from being in Austin 4 or 5 years ago and even thinking about it and just watching the traffic fly around those people and stuff. Because in Austin, you have to be on the street. You can't be on the sidewalk. Or at least at that time. I don't know if it's changed. And it just scared the bejesus out of me to think that I've got to be on the scooter. And I'm already somebody that you put me on a bicycle, I'm going to find a way to wreck it, even though I know how to ride one. And I have to be in traffic. So yeah. I don't know. But anyway, I hope tonight was fun for you guys. I try to figure out how we can theme some things, make them fun. Was going to post a pic, but it didn't let you. Pixar didn't happen, right? Is that what you're saying? I get you. I hear you. I'm glad finally to actually be back on stream drinking with you guys. It's been a long haul. I know I had a drink the last time, but it was just one or I think I did go through 3, but if you guys looked, don't go back and watch. They were tiny cuts. I mean, they were barely drinks. But I finally feel to the point now where it's like back, and I can't wait. So the funny part is there's not even Matt Madness tonight. Like the last few times I've been live, Matt's been doing his thing, but he's down here in Florida on vacation. I do know Bubble Bath Bourbon and I forget who else is doing a collab tonight. So that's another fun thing you guys can go watch. But I'm probably going to go ahead and cut it short here and thank everybody for coming out tonight. This was a huge success. Our first annual WhiskeyMania event. If I had pyro right now, I'd be shooting it off for you guys. And, there'd be some music playing because we had a new champion in the, Weller 107. And, but otherwise, it was a good time tonight. I appreciate all you guys getting in here. So thank you guys. Thanks, David. Yeah, I mean, you know how it is. You used to play to audiences, right? You had to do what you had to do. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off this evening. And just honestly, guys, thank you so much for the support. The channel's growing. I love the feedback. I love all of you guys. Have a great night. Cheers.